The Paris Artificial Intelligence Summit has become the epicenter for global discourse on artificial intelligence ethical future. With world leaders and tech moguls gathered, the summit is shaping the trajectory of AI, exploring its influence on the global economy, international politics and security. French President Emmanuel Macron's call for EU investment, UN Secretary-General Guterres' participation, and Vice President Trump Vance's debut foreign trip underscore the summit's significance. Can AI revolutionize global power dynamics while ensuring ethical oversight? The stakes couldn't be higher. I'm Henny Saif, and this is Think Tank.
Our world is becoming unhinged.
The Washington Post has reported that at the AI summit in Paris, Vice President J.D. Vance emphasized the U.S. commitment to AI leadership, sharply criticizing Europe's tech regulations. He warned that overly cautious approaches to AI could hinder progress, urging European leaders to embrace innovation with optimism rather than fear. Vance's remarks signaled a shift in U.S. foreign policy, prioritizing American tech interests over European collaborations. He criticized the European Union's laws, including the Digital Services Act and General Data Protection Regulation, for stifling innovation and burdening companies. Additionally, Vance vowed to block the misuse of AI for surveillance, prioritizing security over technological abuse. The Guardian reported that the US and the UK refused to sign the Paris AI Summit's declaration on inclusive and sustainable AI, marking a setback for global cooperation in regulating the technology. Their absence followed Vice President J.D. Vance's criticism of Europe's stringent regulations, warning that they could stifle AI innovation. Vance emphasized that the US prioritizes fostering AI growth over imposing restrictive rules, addressing concerns about the EU's Digital Services Act and GDPR. He also cautioned against forming alliances with authoritarian regimes, particularly China. The US Vice President stressed that a balanced regulatory approach was crucial, urging nations to embrace AI with optimism rather than fear for a prosperous future. World leaders and tech giants converged in Paris to discuss the future of artificial intelligence, addressing its ethical, economic and political implications for global security and international relations.
A critical AI summit was held in Paris, marking a pivotal moment in global discussions on artificial intelligence (AI). Leaders from various countries, alongside CEOs from the world's foremost AI companies, gathered to assess AI's progress and address key challenges related to ethics, regulation, and societal impact. French President Emmanuel Macron emphasized the importance of fostering AI development within the European Union, proposing that France should serve as a central hub for AI innovation in Europe. His remarks underscored the need for sustained investment to prevent technological stagnation and ensure Europe remains competitive against global powers like US and China. The summit also featured prominent figures such as US Vice President J.D. Vance and UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. Vance's participation highlighted AI's role as a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy and technological strategy, while Guterres advocated for the ethical deployment of AI to prevent widening inequalities. AI's influence on global politics and economics is undeniable, with discussions centered on its dual impact, both beneficial and disruptive. On one hand, AI can drive economic growth by fostering innovation, automation, and efficiency. On the other hand, it raises critical security concerns, including cyber threats, job displacement, and geopolitical instability. As nations compete for dominance in AI, international relations will increasingly hinge on advancements in this crucial field. The role of international law was a recurring theme, with leaders calling for comprehensive frameworks to regulate AI, ensuring its use remains ethical, transparent, and just for both state and non-state actors. This summit represents a crucial step in shaping a global AI future, one that balances innovation with regulation for the benefit of all.
As the world accelerates into the AI age, the recent Paris AI Summit has become a pivotal moment for global leaders and tech moguls to define the future of artificial intelligence. Now, with the differing views on regulation, ethics and innovation, the summit has sparked crucial debates that could reshape economies, international relations and global security. And now we are joined by two experts to unpack the most pressing questions surrounding AI governance, the risks of surveillance and the potential for both growth and division in this rapidly advancing field. Stay tuned as we dive in these high-stakes discussions with Mr. Iyad Barakat, an AI and digital transformation consultant from London, and Dr. Mohammed Azem, a board member of the International Association of Management of Technology from Cairo. Gentlemen, thank you and welcome to Think Tank. My first question goes to you, Mr. Barakat. Now, given the high-stakes discussions at the Paris AI Summit and all the differing countries not seeing eye to eye, what do you think is the most critical challenge in aligning global artificial intelligence regulations?
Not a lot is expected from this summit, but it is an excellent move at the right time to at least have to start the discussion. The best thing that could come out of the summit is a clear commitment, at least from the majority of the countries, to decide the trajectory of AI. We all now know that AI has the potential to create massive disruption with a lot of risk, but at the same time, there are a lot of opportunities in growth, economic growth, personal growth, entertainment growth that could be achieved. But how do we put the world on the right road or the right trajectory to achieve those things, to put the society at first, before profit, before just simply what we see now, which is a race to who will win, especially in the race for AGI, which a lot of countries and many companies as well, they are in literal arm race to get there first, forgetting a lot about society, the impact on societies, and how can we actually make it more towards benefiting societies, benefiting the poor, bridging the gap, the economic gap and the technological gap between countries and between individuals at the same time. So it comes at the right moment, but we need to see more action, and it needs to be carried by clear plans in the future.
Dr. Azem, now with the US and the UK rejecting the summit's declaration on an inclusive AI, what does this mean for international collaboration in the AI governance?
Thank you, Mr. Hani, for your question, and my regards to you and your distinguished guests and your distinguished viewers. Actually, regulating technology, and especially emerging technology, is a very challenging issue, actually. It's very hard to regulate emerging technologies. This will limit the ability to innovate and to create more progress on the technological level that will lead to more wealth creation on the enterprise level as well as on the national level. There are always a dispute, and always there is a real conflict of interest and a real conflict within the views of the United States and Europe in most of the cases regarding how to regulate technology. And of course, this becoming based on the nature of both regions. Actually, U.S. in favor of not regulating technology, and actually the progress of technology is always witnessing a huge progress in unregulated environment. This what the history of technology tells us. While Europeans are more conservative, they are pro having more regulations and trying to have a sort of ethical framework, risk-based assessment of AI applications, and of course they are classifying the applications into low risk, medium risk, high risk, and companies need to report to the EU the level of risk that imposed by their AI applications, and they get a license or get an approval for their product and services to go to the market. This actually is not helping innovation a lot. So the dispute is always there and will continue. And of course, the international cooperation on that scale, I believe it would be very hard, especially with the announcement of the Donald Trump administration of having an investment of 500 billion in the coming 4 years in AI, as well as China as well is willing to invest almost the same in AI, and there is a race between the two nations for owning the most advanced technologies and applications based on AI in several domains, that including the defense industry, including the pharmaceutical industry, the transportation industry, the retail industry, the trade industry. Just name it, because actually AI is not a buzzword anymore. Actually, AI is the most powerful transformation tool to address the most challenging, the most actually pressing challenging that we are facing today.
Yes. Well, Mr. Barakat, the US Vice President Vance actually warned against Europe's excessive AI regulation. Do you believe such caution could hinder innovation and progress in the tech industry, or is there a way to balance and promote the innovation and the progress and at the same time have some sort of a safety net for the use and application of AI?
There definitely needs to be a balance. The US follows a model which is corporate-led innovation with almost zero regulation. Most of technology in the US is not regulated. And we saw how can that have really bad outcomes, especially in what we saw with social media and different applications over the last 10, 20 years. On the other hand, EU believes in regulation first and then the innovation, and trying to find that balance. I think the AI Act by the European Union is a good start. It's a framework. It might need to be simplified more, but it is a good start, and it is being adopted by many countries around the world as well, because it is actually at least the simple form of it is very easy to understand and very easy to implement, and also it guides innovation to go in the right direction. So if innovation is in, let's say, in generative AI, things like what we see in ChatGPT, DeepSeek, the AI Act from the EU does not actually touch that. Because it classifies it as low risk. So there is still a lot of place for innovation. At the same time, Europe, needs to find that balance, and the way to find it is actually happening now. EU and France, especially France, they are investing heavily in AI. They have announced just in the last 2 days, they have announced competitors to ChatGPT and DeepSeek from Europe, because they need to show that they can build innovative products that the world want to use, while at the same time maintaining the basic or the most important ethical standards, regulatory standards, the privacy of their citizens, the data privacy of their citizens, and also the safety of their systems. So the EU is on the right track. Maybe the US need to at least adopt at least a basic framework, or collaborate with the rest of the world to create a framework that can be truly balanced, will not stifle innovation, but at the same time, it can lead the discussion and the innovation in the right direction for societal benefit, not just profit. And at the same time, have those, regulations that can make people feel safe, can also allow other countries to access the technologies. This is another important point. There is a huge divide now. There are three major camps in AI innovations, and there are a few other countries around the world that are also doing very well. For example, Brazil, India, Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. But there are many other countries where they still don't have access to infrastructure, to AI tools, and also they don't have the right numbers of AI educated professionals and students.
Dr. Azem, now with the US advocating for minimal regulation, and you've mentioned the impact and the investment of artificial intelligence economically in different sectors, but how do you see this impacting AI's role in international politics?
It comes from a different perspectives. Actually, AI is changing the world. AI is a tool that will help nations to keep its competitiveness. It would help nations to keep its industrial power, its dominance over data. Data is the most valuable asset that we have today. And of course, this will increase the ability for nations who can deploy and even owning the AI technologies for developing industrial application in all sectors. So this is will help countries having this kind of technology, adapting this kind of technology, innovating in this AI space to be competitive, to be on the top of the competitiveness ladder. And of course, the countries who will not be able to own this technology or even utilize this technology will face so many challenges, and they are hurting their competitiveness to a great extent. That's why actually the divide will be larger, and of course the economic divide will lead to so many challenges on the social level and economic level for nations who are not adapting such technology in every single aspect in their economic and social sectors. So this is a real inflection point, and the most important issue now that we are facing, the most important challenge that we are facing, is that we won't be able to be in the race for owning such technology. Especially United Nations thinking of having an international agency for AI, similar to the International Agency for Atomic Energy. This means to me that this very serious thing that some countries will be able to or have the right to own the technology and use the technology. Some other countries will not be able to own the technology. However, they can use the technology in certain domains, and some other countries wouldn't be able at all to use such technology. This is a very serious thing. AI actually is paving a way for a next inflection point for the human mankind, and opening a new vista for innovation, a new vista for use models of technology, a new vista for creating more startups who could be unicorns and could lead the economic landscape in all over the world. So this is AI, as I said before, is not a buzzword, is a very serious thing. That's why if we don't be able to own this technology now and enter the race now, this will hurt your ability to be competitive, that will hurt your ability to be resilient, that will hurt your ability to become a wealthy nation or have a footprint in the international arena.
Mr. Barakat, now you've mentioned and emphasized the importance of finding the right balance. Now, President Macron emphasized also the AI's role in Europe's future. So how can the EU balance the innovation with the ethical concerns in AI development, especially that it could get into a competitive mode with the US?
The balance can be found only when you are talking about regulation the whole time. You're talking about ethics. You are looking at it first, but at the same time investing in actual innovation, actual systems. And now we can say that France and the EU, they are on that road. Unfortunately, they will be, the world, it's again is shaping into almost a battleground between different camps and countries on not just AI, but mainly on AI and technology. Because just like what your guest said, the power of AI and its ability to transform the world is massive. If countries do not catch up, they will be left behind. So there is already a battleground. There is already an arm race, and I'm afraid now, because of the difference in opinions between China, the European Union, and the US, those camps will continue. The best outcome for all, for everybody around the world, is if there is collaboration and cross-border innovation, and countries working together, and also working with building partnerships with tech companies to create to create an ecosystem that can again maintain the most important ethical standards, at least agree on them, and maintain safety, and at the same time create the innovation to unleash the potential of AI. The potential of AI could be massive in healthcare, in education, in agriculture, in even saving energy. Yes, AI is a consumer of energy, but at the same time it can be used in the energy sector to save energy, to make it more efficient, which will have a massive impact on the climate that we and will help humanity act on the climate crisis that we are facing now.
Dr. Azem, considering the growing concerns over AI surveillance, privacy and security, how can global policy frameworks prevent authoritarian misuse of this kind of technology?
This is very challenging, Mr. Hani. This is really very challenging. Of course, part of ethical framework of AI is not using this technology for actually jeopardizing the privacy of enterprises or of citizens. And unfortunately, so many countries who owning this kind of technology, they are using such technology for surveillance, for privacy, for issues related to privacy. And again, we are in need of a real dialogue between South and North and South and South to have an implemental mechanism for having a more ethical way of using AI, especially when it comes to privacy, because privacy is a major concern, and is major concern for companies, for citizens, for communities. Especially AI can have a sort of a social scoring, can have a sort of analysis, or even a very thorough analysis and deep analysis of any person digital footprint, analyzing every single act that a person does on the internet or in the cyberspace. And this kind of data could be used for manipulation, could be used for driving the public opinion.
Yes,
and actually
definitely.
it's happening now,
well,
and we witness this
I'm sorry, I'll have
action.
to cut you off, Dr. Azem, because we're running out of time. But Mr. Barakat, one final question, and we are running out of time. How should international organizations like the UN shape AI governance to prevent the misuse while encouraging growth and innovation? Is there a role for these international organizations such as the UN?
Definitely, they have been trying and attempting to at least set a framework. They can, but at least they should be bringing all those different parties together. China, the US, Russia, all every country, bring them together under the roof of the United Nations to have those discussions. There are some serious issues as well that need the United Nations to step in. For example, the issue of autonomous weapons, the issue of surveillance, as you discussed with your guest, and many issues that are critical in war. Do we want AI to be making decisions to kill people, for example, or we don't? Can we have an agreement on what we can have and not have, similar to what we have with the
Yes.
climate accords and also the nuclear armament?
Mr. Riyad Baraka, the AI and digital transformation consultant from London, and Dr. Mohammed Azam, the board member of the International Association of Management of Technology. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us here on Think Tank. And as global leaders, tech visionaries converge at the Paris AI Summit, the world stands at a critical juncture in AI development. Will nations overcome their differences to forge a unified approach? The future of AI is in the balance. That brings us to the end of this episode of Think Tank. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.